More and more new pictures of Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger have been released over the past few days, and I think all of you are just as confused as I am. Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Robbie, if you don't know that already, and welcome back to Geek Level Asian. Today we're going to be talking about all the news that we've been seeing online about Zenkaiger. A few new images and information about the characters themselves have been released, and we're going to go over that. I'll get to that in a minute. And if you'd like to keep up with the information as we get it about Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you like this video if you want to keep seeing these in your notifications. And like I said in the last few videos, once we hit 5,000 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away my Funko Pop Ultra Zord to one of my subscribers, so make sure that you subscribe. So here's what we know so far. Zenkaiser, the leader of the Zenkaiger, is the white rainbowy looking character who looks like a mix between Big One and Aka Ranger, is the character that was teased to us as a silhouette a few days ago. We also have learned that he is the only human on the team. And that leads into the next thing. If you haven't guessed already from the pictures themselves, the rest of the team, they're robots. Now, what seems to be unclear, but if you look at the actual plot of Zenkaiger, it kind of makes it more clear. The entire premise is this machine world full throttle. So at first everyone was like, well, are these what the characters look like once they've henshined, once they've transformed? I don't think that's the case. I think that's actually who they are. They are robots like we've seen in Q Ranger and Go Buster. Now, I'm not sure of this, but it seems like they're probably going to transform, and maybe they're going to have more of a Zenkaiser type look with actual spandex suits. I don't know what they're going to do with that yet. And if you look really closely at these robots, especially one of them, you're going to recognize these guys. The first one that probably popped out to you the most is the one that looks like Daijujin from Zyuranger Ranger. And this character's name is Zenkaiger. He looks basically like Daijujin Megazord, but with like a T-Rex chest. The next one that I actually recognize, which seemed to be the one that people had the most problem with, or didn't recognize at first, was Gao King, or at least he's supposed to look like Gao King. And that's right, you guessed it, his name is Zenkai Gaon. Then the next one we have a female robot that resembles Maji King, and that character's name is Zenkai Majin. And the last one is the one that I didn't recognize because I'm not really a Gokaiger fan, but I think he has the coolest name, Zenkai Vroom. It's like, what are we gonna name this character? I don't know, what's a noise that cars make? So now real quick, I mean, that's a lot of information. Let's go over opinion. I really like the design of pretty much everything in this picture. This is what I'm gonna say. I believe that Kiramager is the epitome of what Sentai, like the direction of Sentai was going in, and it's just, I just don't see a lot of creativity there. I just see a lot of the same stuff in that. Don't get me wrong, obviously they're pulling from older seasons in Zenkaiger. I understand that. You may call that derivative, that's fine. But I think the concept, they're kind of like, listen, let's just do something completely different. You know, we've been trying some Robot Rangers for a few different seasons, and people really like those characters. Why don't we just have an entire team of robots? And then probably someone came in and said, well, there has to be at least one human. And I gotta say, I mean, I looked at the picture and I was like, what is going on here? But then I was like, no, I like what's going on here. This is a little crazy. This might be really bad, but it might also be really good. You know, it's just bordering on that line between crazy and genius. I mean, Zenkaiser himself, I like the whole shield thing. Whenever I say Zenkaiser, I'm thinking of bread. I'm sorry. But I love how he's got the 45 on his helmet, and he's got the old vintage-looking visor that's blue and it's got holes in it, which I like for two reasons. One, I love that old visor, but the other thing is that it's easier to see out of those if you happen to cosplay as them. And I know there's a lot of MMPR haters out there, but I am not one of them. I love MMPR. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. I love the fact that there's like basically like a regular-sized Megazord-looking character just kind of walking around. Now, what is confusing me, and I don't know this yet, like, so let's say they start out as robots, and then they henshin, and then they look like, maybe they look more like Zenkaiser, maybe they have spandex. What happens when they have to be, well, when either they grow and become gigantic mecha, or if they call upon other mecha, which would be kind of weird, because they're robots, so they would kind of be like going inside gigantic robots. I mean, I guess that would be like me like going inside a giant. We're getting like this like weird Attack on Titan type of situation. And I don't know if that's the direction they're gonna go in. Probably not. From the descriptions that I've seen online and from the pictures themselves, they're gonna be using these things that look like little gears, kind of like what are those things in not the Flintstones, in the Jetsons? What are Cogswell Cogs and Spacely Sprockets? They kind of look like those. They also kind of remind me of like a Kamen Rider X-Aid looking, you know, those like coin things that are in the environment, so that they, you know, that can use them as power-ups. So they look kind of like those. I don't know how big they're supposed to be. Are they little, like a power coin? Are they a little bigger? I'm not exactly sure, but it seems like they're going to be using those, you know, for different weapons, I'm sure, for different transformations and etc. Basically, all of that Henshin and Sentai, you know, tropes that we already know. Now, I would love to answer the question, since it's a 45th anniversary, and since they're basically taking designs and concepts from original Sentai series from the past, is it going to be the type of anniversary series where, like Gokaiger, we get past actors and they're going to be bringing people in for huge team-ups? I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is going to be, but I have a feeling, and this is also because of just the situation of the world right now, I'm not sure if they're going to do that or if they do to the scale that Gokaiger was. From what I've read on the official Toei website where they do the announcements, on January 15th, 2021, they're going to be announcing the voice actor cast. You know, I just thought about something, and I'm not sure if this is the case, but it kind of actually, it doesn't make sense for the suit actors because they're still in the same type of predicament, but are they doing this type of production because of COVID, because of the pandemic, so that people can do voice acting maybe like in the comfort of their own homes? Because I mean, I don't know how it works in Japan, but I know here in America, a lot of voice actors actually work out of their own homes with their own little studios. I don't know. I'm not saying that's a fact. That it could be. I don't know. So now the last thing I want to mention is just a funny concept to me because, and I mentioned this a few videos ago, kind of, you know, mentioning Hasbro and what they're going to be doing with Jonathan Entwistle, and things are all up in the air right now, and there's a lot of speculation. And I don't want to call this an official theory, but this would be really funny. So I totally understand from a business point of view, again, and I've said this before, why Hasbro would want to purchase Power Rangers and do what they want with it, right? You know, because Beast Morphers was kind of already in production. Saban was actually part of that production while Hasbro bought it. So they bought Power Rangers and they still had some legacy, no pun intended, they had some legacy things or obligations that they had to take care of. So now it seems like, you know, from what I've read, again, I don't know if it's official, if they are ending their relationship with Toei, right, and they're going to be going in this Jonathan Entwistle, different type of more, maybe like give him, you know, the creative freedom to do what he needs to do. This is what I think is probably going to happen. I don't think that they'll end Power Rangers as a production with the Power Rangers universe as we know it. I don't think that would really ever go away. I think they are going to start doing their own thing. Yeah, they already hired the writer from Titans. I could be the writer or one of the guys. So that's its own thing. I highly doubt that Jonathan Entwistle is going to be overseeing the universe as we know it and that we grew up with. So what I think is really funny is that, at least in America, Hasbro is very much well known for Transformers, right? Transformers being robots that turn into other objects, you know, whether they're cars or I know there was like a dinosaurs one. I don't really follow Transformers that much, but I think it's funny because this particular Sentai series is basically that, if you think about it. It's Machine World Squadron, Full Throttle, Machine World, hello, Cybertron, that was a Machine World. I mean, look at a close-up of Zenkai Vroom. He basically is a Transformer. I could see him being in the Michael Bay movies. And the reason why I think that's comical, because if the whole thing about them ending the relationship with Toei is true, it would be a really funny, just kind of like, you know, like backhanded slap in the face, like, oh, Hasbro, you don't want to work with us anymore? Well, we're just going to release something that you could have basically created very easily, and this is your bread and butter. We just won't do that with you. But again, speculation. I have no insight to any of this stuff. So please, it's possible that you may already know information that I haven't gotten to yet, or you have a theory that makes more sense than mine does. Make sure you leave all that stuff in the comments. I know that everyone likes to talk down there. If you want to keep up with the Sentai, Power Rangers, Toku news, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on all of the social media networks that I'm a part of, except for Facebook because they're being dumb. Oh, and this is probably the last video that I'm gonna make before the holiday, so if I don't speak to you before then, which I probably won't, because, again, this is probably the last video before then, happy holidays. Have a wonderful Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. I will probably make a video between then and New Year, so I wish you Happy New Year then. I put some new designs in my web store, so make sure to check that out in the description. Be good, and may the power protect you.